Welcome to Sally's Angelworks. Welcome to Fun Friday video number 2. Yay! And today what we're doing is we're making a mini quilt. And in the store this week I have put in a new product called a memory quilt. And what that is just a little mini quilt that has a spot for you to put a picture. Now this is what we're making. This is what I'm going to show you how to make. And it's very simple. This is a mini quilt with fun fabrics all in there, and it's got a spot that hand sewn in place where you can put a 4x6 picture, or in my case a calendar, and you can do that with that, or you can do a 5x7, however big you want to make it, that's fine. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a piece of unbleached muslin. And again, it's okay, whatever size you want to make it, it's up to you. I think actually I'm going to turn mine sideways this way. And I'm going to do this backwards so that you can see it. You're going to start with your picture. Always start with your picture so you can kind of gauge how it's going to be and how big you want things to go. So this is where I'm going to put my picture. And then I'm just going to grab random scraps and stuff, and I'm going to put them here next to the picture where I want them. And I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have this down here. I'm going to leave a little room for some rubber stamping. Very fun. This I want to have down at my bottom here, at the bottom of the thing. I think put our little bows. I'm going to do this the right way so you can see it here. Then I'm going to use this. And then, you know, you can use your rotary cutter if you want to, but I just use scissors. How fun is that? And we'll just match it up. And then we'll put this up here. And then in this spot right here, we're going to stamp. I'm going to use this Stampin' Up! Alphabet, Just Perfect Alphabet. And I like to use, on fabric, I like to use this India ink, this black, quick drying. You know, you can use it on, obviously, it's mainly geared for paper, and you can watercolor, but it dries really fast. You can use StazOn, you can use, you know, whatever. Good pigment ink is what you want, something that doesn't wash off. For this one, I did 2012. But on this little one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my one little word that has chosen me this year, and that word is believe. So I am now looking for, I like to use a piece of paper to test it, just to make sure that I'm stamping correctly. So let's see here. I'm going to do it upside down. So that's right. Just push really hard. Works perfectly. You'd think I'd have had this laid out for you, huh? Okay, here's the E. It's one of the hardest things about the word believe is how to spell it. Okay. It's okay if it's not exactly in line, because honestly, the quilt police, the rubber stamping police, nobody is standing right there to watch you and make sure you're doing everything the quote-unquote way that it's supposed to be done. It's okay if you just have it a little bit up or down or whatever. I do recommend, though, definitely stamp it on your sheet of paper, though, before you stamp it on your fabric. And then if it doesn't work out, heck, just get another piece of fabric out, right? Or put the fabric over it if you don't like it. See? Boom. It's gone. How awesome is that? Except I really like it, so. B-E-L-I-E. Okay, what I've decided after looking at all of this is that I want one more little piece of fabric right here on the top. And cut it there. This is going to be a little bit lower. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pin all of this. Okay? Actually, before we pin it, we're going to add our batting and backing. And what I've done for that is I've just grabbed an old white piece. It's actually, I think it was an old curtain that I had that's in my scraps. Very cool to use our scraps. And I'm going to take this off because it's moving, and the rest of it will stay pretty close to that. And we're just going to put this on here and fix it. Then, again, we're going to trim the edges. So you want to definitely, look at my fun little pincushion. You just want to pin these right in the middle and pin them right where you want them. And then when I'm done pinning, I'm going to go take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew around the edges. I'm going to do about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch for the littler pieces in, and just do like a rectangle around the edges. And I'm going to do it through all 3 layers. And I'm just using plain old white thread, or it's actually ecru. I love ecru. Just to get it on there and show those raw edges. Love it. Okay. Okay. I'm also, let me show you before I stop the recorder and go do that. I'm going to put this on. This is actually an extra one that you can tell it's kind of messed up in the printing. I'm going to go ahead and pin this to this because I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch around this. And that's going to be my border for my 4x6 picture or calendar or whatever you put on there. So far it's looking great. So here is our sewn quilt. And again, you know, everything is not exactly in line. It's not perfectly corners met, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's okay. We want it to have some character. We want it to have a little bit of just really fun quirkiness to it. Now I'm just taking those edges off. And I am using my ruler, and in a perfect world, well, I don't even know what a perfect world is because we don't live in a perfect world, do we? There are only 2 more things you have left to do to this besides trim your little pieces that you want to trim. A lot of these, I love for them to stay a little fray-y, but these, I've got a couple of these, you know, just stray hairs, whatever. I like them stray, but I also like for my words to be seen. Okay, the second to last thing that I am going to do is I'm going to sew those little corners on. And the way that I'm doing this is I actually did this as per my picture. There's nothing going on over here and there's nothing going on over here. You can do it over all 4 corners. That makes it more stable and it's really great. But basically, I'm using embroidery thread and just the 2 opposite corners work just fine. This is pearl cotton and I can never remember the gauge or whatever that's called. But I'm going about 1 inch in here, and I'm going right on that seam where I sewed that there. And when I get down on this side, I'm going to come right back up on this side so that I'm not using a lot of unnecessary thread, because you don't care about the back having any, you know, strand there. You don't want to pull it too tight so your quilt puckers, but you don't want it to be too loose so your picture doesn't stay in, right? So I'm just doing it probably 4 times. So that's 2. And then, you know, fill in those gaps so it looks like one big, happy, threaded family. That's 3. And then our last one, you don't want to come back where you went down because, of course, that would pop it right back out again. And that's 4. There you go. And then on the back, I'm just going to do a simple slip knot thingy. What are those knots called? You know what? I was not a Boy Scout. It's okay that I don't know what the knots are called. And if you want to hide your knot, you certainly can. I'm thinking that somebody is not going to display this backwards, so it's probably okay with it like that. So there's one side. And let's do the other side really quickly so that you can see the finished product. The last thing you want to do is you want to grab one of your scraps, and I forgot to tell you that the scraps that I used for this is part of Anila Hui's latest, newest line called A Walk in the Woods by Moda, and that's coming out in February. And you'll be able to get it at my darling friend Julie's store, theintrepidthread.etsy.com. I know I'll probably be grabbing a bunch of it so I can make cute little things out of it. I have another project this week that'll be done by Sunday that's using this. That's where I got my scraps from. So that's 4. And stretching it back out and do my little knot. So grab another scrap and we're going to do little hangers. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, let me cut this little knot. And oops, I'm just throwing things all over the place here. There you go. You can slip, and it gives you a little bit of room there. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a fat one. These are pretty fun. I like the blue. And then all I'm going to do, these are going to be the little holding straps. So I'm just making it, looping it like this. So you got your 2, oops. And you can do this on the back or the front. I think it looks kind of cool in the front. I did my other one with it in the front. Pin it, sew it, and you're all done. Have the selvage knot show on this one. You can trim it too if you think it's too low. Might want to use a dowel. And there you go. This particular quilt will be on sale in my shop, and super cool. Love it. And it leaves you a place to put your pictures or calendar or whatever you have. And that's how we do it here. Check me out on the blog, sallysangelworks.typepad.com. And we'll see you next Friday.